Tim Linder here. Let's talk about fonts and font installation inside of Photoshop. So if I were to go in here and create some type here, type in some typography into a type layer, and I say, you know what, I'm gonna look at the choices I've got here. I'm gonna go to my character panel, or I'm gonna go up, fly down here. I'm gonna see what kind of choices I've got. Right, I can select, and I can go to my character panel, and I can say, oh, these are some different choices. Some different choices that I've got. So I've got a significantly, maybe a longer list than you might have. You can increase or decrease the amount of choices that you have in here a number of different ways. One of the ways is to do it directly through Adobe. So if I were to click on this, I look up at the top and I say, oh, look, I've got some additional options that I can choose from, more from Adobe. I could click on that. It's going to launch a web browser here, and I could pick, as long as I'm signed in up here with my Adobe account, I could say, you know what, I really like this. I want to get something. Let's see what Sketchnote typeface looks like. I can choose that. Boy, these look great. I can always go to the bottom as well and get, recommendations of what this is, or what pairs well with it, or ones that are similar to it. I can look down, but if I choose this and I say, you know what, I'm going to activate these 4 fonts, or I can activate individually if I wanted to click on these right here. I could click on these little radio buttons and activate it, or I could click on all 4. Remember the word Sketchnote, I can activate that. I'm going to choose OK. I'm going to come back to Photoshop. I'm going to go up here to the top, and I'm going to type in the word Sketchnote, and there it is. It's installed. Now it has this little icon next to it too that shows me that this is an Adobe font, right? So if I were to pass this file to somebody else, they would have launched this file, and this would show the way that it's showing. They could print it out the way that they needed to print it, and it would look in this style of font, or similar to you if you had a different machine. But if you wanted to edit it, then it's going to say you need this font installed in order to edit it. So you would have to say, yeah, sure, go ahead and install it from Adobe, and as long as your account was active, it would bring that font in for you to be able to use. Now there's other ways too. If I were to go out to a web browser here and go to a site like DaFont or 1001 Free Fonts or something like that, I could download one of these fonts, and I could get a file that is this kind of a zip file, and inside of that folder has TTF or OTF fonts. And if I looked at it, these are the different. This is the different style of fonts here that I could choose from. I could double click on those, and I could install them on my machine. Now they would be installed in Photoshop for me to be able to use. However, I'm going to make sure I'm going to keep this TTF file handy, probably alongside the file that I've used this font within, because if I ever need to open it up and make changes again, I'm going to have to reinstall this font. Now, also things you want to pay attention to are the copyright of this font, and you need to pay attention to if you want to donate to the author, or if it needs attribution if you use it, or if you need to pay to use it in a logo that you're creating for hire or something like that. You have to be careful about the copyright laws and the regulations behind using some of these pieces of art and some of this typography if you're going to be certainly using it for hire. So those are a couple different ways to create and install different fonts within Photoshop.